Hi, this is Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I am here today with a new fun dyeing experiment. I have dyed many things with KoolAid in the past, but I have always pre-mixed the KoolAid before doing any dyeing. Today, I am going to dye some Knit Picks Full Circle Roving, 100 grams, 100% wool, but I'm going to dye it using dry KoolAid. I'm going to try to sprinkle and dust the Roving with the KoolAid and see how the color penetrates and what happens. And if there's a lot of white left over, that's okay, because since this is yarn that's going to, or fiber that's going to be spun, it could end up looking really cool with the way that we do the spinning. I am going to pre-soak the fiber in room temperature water that does not have anything added to it. The KoolAid that I'm dyeing with contains citric acid, which is sufficient as the acid source to get the color to bind to the yarn. So we're going to want to make sure that the fiber is completely saturated by letting it soak for 20 to 30 minutes or so. I have covered my work surface with plastic wrap. This will help me wind things up as I am finishing up. And I've got my pre-soaked Roving right here. And I'm actually gently squeezing out as much as the water, fair amount of water. There's still some, like if I were to squeeze it more, some more water would come out, but I do not want, I need there to be some water left in here, but I don't want to felt it. I probably should have used a towel, but you live and learn. I have divided the fiber into 6 approximately even sections. And I'm now going to put on dry gloves and start applying the KoolAid. Let's start with the yellow. So my rainbow, red, orange, yellow. Open up the packet and oh, I love working with KoolAid because it just smells so nice. Now it's possible I squeezed too much water out because my KoolAid is staying quite dry. I've only maybe used half the packet or so. Let's go on and try. It's a little easier to sprinkle than I expected. So let's go on and try the red, which we should see more if the color starts to spread. Cherry food coloring is one of the most potent flavors. Okay, you can kind of see how slowly the color by the red is getting a little darker. Some of the color is coming in to the fiber. Then we got orange flavor. I'll go this way, maybe you'll see better. Of course, that's my left hand, and I'm not as coordinated. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying, I really am. Sprinkle some orange to cover this overlap portions. Yeah, it's possible that the yellow itself might just be a little subtle, but you can see, let's see if I zoom in, with the orange and the red, that the color is starting to sink in. Oh, this is really fun. For green, I am using lemon lime. I had to buy this off of eBay, but I'm not going to try to step around the tripod. I'm going to walk all the way around my island. And sprinkle on the green. You know, with the way the world is going, soon KoolAid, etc. will probably be made without food coloring at all. Because people are feeling pretty anti-food coloring. I mean, why bother having added chemicals in your foods, right? Now, I won't mind having less food coloring in what I eat, but I certainly like having it in my dyeing products. Now the way I'm doing this, and given how slowly these colors are penetrating, I think it's highly unlikely that the color is going to go to the other side of the fiber. But I will have to decide how much I'm going to squish this once I have added the dry food coloring onto all of the sections. I kind of like making up these experiments as I go along. We've now got ice blue raspberry lemonade. Looking quite white as I apply it. Slowly, again, I'll zoom in. Slowly we see the blue shoot forth. Well, not shoot forth, but, you know, slowly come out. Yeah, when I add more food coloring on top, it makes it a little more apparent. I really like doing rainbows with KoolAid. They smell good. The colors are fun. Oh, grape. I'm not sure what my favorite flavor would be to eat or drink. Occasionally I'll make a Halloween punch with grape and orange KoolAid because it'll turn this fun black color, but whoa. Okay, unlike with all the others, I used up all that grape powder pretty fast. Huh. I don't know how I was able to show more restraint. Let's add some blue on there so we get some crossover. Ooh, cool. Let's show you guys the cherry close up again. So as we're waiting, in the cherry, I'm seeing very, very little that's dry over there. I'm still seeing a fair amount that's dry in the orange, certainly in the lemonade, the yellow lemonade. But as we go on, it certainly is. It certainly is absorbing to the fiber, which is very cool and exciting for me. So I am gonna let this sit another 10 minutes or so And we'll see what has happened or if we can even really see a difference when I come back. The 10 minutes have passed, and as you can hopefully see, we still have these dots and crystals of sugar. It has not dissolved. The color has not permanently adhered to the yarn or to the fiber. And so I'm going to do something that I didn't want to do now. I was hoping to do as a separate experiment, but I probably took too much water out. So I've got a spray bottle with just plain water. And I'm going to just give this all a little bit of help. You can almost see instantaneously the change that some more water did to the fiber. Suddenly, we're seeing more color that looks like it's in the fiber itself versus just in these crystals. Over here. And take a closer look. Especially with the purple, I can't really quite zoom in enough, but you still see some speckling. But certainly more color is dissolved at this point. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I still don't want to touch it. You know, I don't want to go and use a gloved hand. Come on, yellow, let's give you some help. The orange and red seem to be handling this the best so far, but red kind of dies the easiest. But we might still end up with some really cool flecks of color, but hopefully at least now we will end up with some color actually getting into the fiber. Ooh. I'm gonna leave this another 10 minutes and then we'll come back and check on it. My 10 minutes aren't up yet, but I am not satisfied with the depth of color on my yellow section. So I am going to add, well, the rest of the powder and spritz you, yeah. After another 10 minutes, a lot is still just sitting on top of the fiber, but I am starting to see some color wicking into the fiber itself. So I'm just gonna let this sit for a while, not keep track of time, and come back and we'll roll it up and nuke it in the microwave when I think that we are close to ready. So after waiting a couple hours, we can see that we do have some color in each of the fiber sections. Maybe not quite as much color as we would have had if I had used all of the dye, or if I had liquefied the dye liquefied, dissolved. I dissolved the dye first, but we still have a good amount. But you know, there's a lot that did not make it into the fiber. Right now I'm just patting up this extra from the sides. I'm going to try to avoid getting color bleeding if it is at all possible. Because I want to try to keep my rainbow gradient. So we're just patting up the extra. Now I have not touched or pushed the dye into the fibers at all. But we'll see how well I can jelly roll this. Might be off screen a bit, but okay. I'm going to take an end and start folding over, rolling up, trying to keep each. And look, you can see the back side here. The back side has no color. Now, whether some color will get pushed in, now that we're forming this jelly roll, I may not have separated the colors enough, but trying not to squeeze. Eek! We're ready to heat this up. I've placed my jelly roll onto a microwave safe plate, and I am going to microwave it on high starting at 2 minutes until it is hot to touch. After 2 minutes, the fiber is warm but not quite hot yet, so I'm going to microwave for another 2 minutes. The fiber is now piping hot, and I am going to just let it sit until it cools, maybe not completely, but a fair amount before I try to unwrap my jelly roll. I'm feeling a bit impatient, so I am going to unroll the jelly roll. We're not cool enough to wash it yet, but I want to see what we've got. Ooh, we got purple, we got blue and green. So far not a lot of bleeding between the different colors. Maybe a little bit of green on the yellow, but that's fair. Sorry for the beeping, guys. Orange. And finally, we got some red. Wahoo! And some pinking. Yeah, we got some other colors in there too. Cool. Once this is cooled off completely, then I will wash it out. We've got here some room temperature water with a little bit of dish soap mixed up, and I'm now going to add our KoolAid dusted Roving, which I'm carefully picking up. Here we go. I'm expecting there to be a reasonable amount of color that comes out. Maybe not that much. I was expecting more because I thought that there might be some stuff not dissolved entirely. But we will see, and I will let this soak in water for a bit and wash until the water runs clear. And then we will hang it up to dry and do the final conclusions with the dry roving. Here we have our dried roving. Some sections, like the red and purple, have a lot more color penetration than, say, the blue and the green, yellow, orange. Those sections have more white. This is likely because the red, cherry red, is one of the most concentrated dye per packet colors, and the grape KoolAid is also pretty concentrated, whereas the ice blue raspberry lemonade, these lemonade flavors, have less food coloring. But I am really excited with how patchy the colors have turned out, and with these sections that have color on one side and then are still white on the other. I think that this will be really cool when I spin up the fiber, and I think, you know, I might try to play around with this again. And hey, we even see some breaking of the grape food coloring. Thank you for hanging out with me for this dyeing experiment and seeing what happens when we hand paint roving with dry KoolAid. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I hope to be back with you soon with more dyeing experiments.